Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a comfortable space to settle in. Perhaps you're sitting, or lying down, ready to release the weight of the day. For the next while, let's explore a different way of being, a way rooted in ancient wisdom but alive in this very moment. Imagine you're holding a precious, fragile bird in your hands. If you clench your fists tightly, out of fear it will fly away, you will harm it. But if you open your palms, gently and completely, the bird may choose to stay, or it may fly. And in that open-handedness, there is no harm, only freedom, for the bird, and for you. This is the essence of our journey, the profound peace found not in gripping, but in releasing. Not in controlling, but in allowing. If this quiet truth calls to you, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. It's a simple way to carry this space of calm with you, a reminder that peace is always a choice, always within reach. Now, let's begin with a story. There was a master carpenter renowned for his skill in making musical instruments. His violins were sought by the finest players in the world. A young apprentice, eager to learn, watched him for months. He noticed the master would often step away from his workbench, sit in the corner, and simply stare out the window for long periods. The apprentice, driven by ambition, spent every moment carving, sanding, and polishing, believing effort alone would breed mastery. One day, frustrated by his own clumsy work, he finally asked, "Master, why do you waste so much time doing nothing? I work tirelessly, yet my instruments are lifeless. Yours sing with a soul you cannot carve." The master smiled. "Come," he said. He led the apprentice to a half-finished violin back. "Place your hand here," he instructed. The apprentice felt the wood. "What do you feel?" asked the master. "It is wood," the apprentice replied. The master shook his head. He placed his own hand on the same piece, closing his eyes. "I feel the tree that grew on a mountainside, bending in the wind. I feel the rain that fed it, the seasons it endured. I feel the spaces within the grain where the music sleeps. My work is not to force the music out. My doing nothing is listening for the song already inside the wood. Then, my tools simply help it emerge." The apprentice understood. His own frantic effort was a form of violence against the wood, a forcing. The master's stillness was a deep listening, a collaboration. He was not making the violin, he was allowing the violin within the wood to reveal itself. This story touches a core principle in Buddhism, right livelihood, but also the deeper principle of Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action, or non-forcing. It is the understanding that true creation, true living, arises from alignment, not from strain. We spend so much of our lives like the eager apprentice, convinced that more effort, more control, more mental activity is the answer to every problem. We wrestle with life, with our relationships, with our own minds. But what if the key is not to push harder, but to listen more deeply? What if the peace, the answer, the next step, is not something you need to manufacture through worry, but something you need to allow into awareness through stillness? The Buddha's path is one of ending suffering, and a primary source of suffering is this very forcing, the ego's attempt to impose its will on a reality that flows according to its own laws. Consider your own life. Where are you playing the apprentice, sanding furiously, mentally wrestling with a problem, a person, or an emotion? Can you, even for a moment, imagine putting down the sandpaper? Can you sit by the window of your own mind and simply listen? Not for an answer in words, but for a feeling, an intuition, a subtle knowing from a place deeper than thought. The mind in its frantic state is like a turbulent pond. You cannot see the bottom. You cannot see a clear reflection. All action taken from that muddy water will be muddled. Stillness is not inactivity. It is the act of letting the pond settle so you can see clearly. From that clarity, action becomes precise, graceful, and effective. It feels less like pushing a boulder uphill and more like sailing with a favorable wind. Your striving is not what brings you what you seek, it is often the very barrier that blocks it. The master carpenter's secret was that he respected the inherent nature of the wood. Our secret to peace is to respect the inherent nature of life, which includes change, impermanence, and a wisdom deeper than our personal plans. This leads us to look at the very thing we try to control, our identity. We build a self out of stories, accomplishments, roles, and opinions. We defend this construct fiercely. But what if you are not the sculpture, but the clay itself? Endlessly malleable, capable of being reshaped by experience, not ruined by it. Imagine a child on a beach, building an elaborate sandcastle. Towers, walls, moats, a masterpiece of imagination. The child is deeply identified with this creation. "This is my castle," she declares. Then, the tide begins to come in. A wave laps at the outer wall. The child panics. She tries to build barriers, to patch the breaches with frantic hands. But the ocean is relentless. Another wave washes in, and soon the castle is a smooth, wet mound of sand. The child sits in tears, feeling a profound loss. An elder sitting nearby watches gently. After the tears subside, the elder says, "The ocean didn't take your castle. It returned your sand. Now you can build anything you like." The child, sniffling, looks at the blank canvas of wet sand. A new idea sparks in her eyes. She begins to shape a sea turtle. We are that child. Our sandcastles are our identities. I am a successful professional, I am a devoted partner, I am a person who is always in control. We invest them with our sense of worth. Then life, like the ocean, brings change. A job loss, a shift in a relationship, an internal crisis, a wave touches our walls. We panic. We scramble to repair, to defend, to cling to the old form. We suffer immensely in this battle against the tide. The Buddhist teaching of anatta, or non-self, is the elder's wisdom. It is not a cold denial of your personality or experiences. It is a liberating insight: you are not the fragile, fixed castle. You are the sand. You are the fundamental awareness and potential from which any form can arise and into which any form can dissolve. The ocean of impermanence, anicca, doesn't destroy you, it merely asks you to let go of one form so another can emerge. The loss is real, and the grief is human. But the tragedy is only absolute if you believed you were the castle and not the sand. When you know yourself as the sand, you realize you can never be ruined. You can only be reshaped. The wave is not your enemy, it is your collaborator in the endless art of becoming. What castle are you desperately defending right now? What would it feel like to know you are the sand beneath it, eternal and adaptable? The fear of loss softens when you realize what you truly are cannot be lost. From this understanding of our flexible nature, we can examine a heavy cloak we often wear, the need for external validation. Picture a beautiful, ancient bell in a temple courtyard. For centuries, people have come to ring it, to hear its clear, resonant tone. The bell does not ring for itself. It does not crave the striker. It simply exists, perfect in its form, capable of producing sound when touched. Its value is not in the ringing, its value is in its inherent bell nature. Now, imagine if the bell had a mind. It might start to think, my purpose is to be rung. My worth is determined by the frequency and strength of the strikes. If no one rings me today, I am useless. If a bigger bell is installed, I am obsolete. What a painful existence for a thing that is already whole. We are like the bell that forgot its inherent nature. We believe our worth is activated, proven, by the strikes of external validation, praise, likes, promotions, approval. When the strikes come, we resonate with temporary joy. When they don't, we feel silent and worthless. We outsource our sense of being to the unpredictable hands of others. This is a core suffering the Buddha identified, the suffering of craving, tanha. Here, the craving is for approval, for confirmation of our self-concept. It is exhausting and precarious. Your peace becomes a prisoner to other people's opinions, which change like the wind. The practice is to remember your bell nature. You are already whole. You are already valuable. The strikes of praise and criticism are just events that happen to you, they are not the definition of you. Can you feel your own substance, your own presence, without any external sound? This is the practice of self-abiding. Sit quietly and feel, I am here. Not, I am good, or, I am bad. Just, I am. In that simple, strikeless awareness, you touch your intrinsic worth. It has nothing to do with what you do or what you have achieved. It is the fact of your conscious existence. From this grounded place, you can engage with the world. People may ring your bell with kindness, and you can appreciate the beautiful sound without attaching it to your identity. They may strike it with harshness, and you can hear the discordant note without believing it defines your mettle. You remain, unmoved, at the center. The bell does not chase the striker. It simply hangs, complete in the temple of your own being. When you stop needing the ring to feel real, you discover a silence within yourself that is more peaceful than any applause. This inner silence allows us to meet one of life's greatest teachers, discomfort. Let's continue. We often see discomfort as a red light, a sign to stop, retreat, or frantically fix. We view it as life going wrong. But what if discomfort is not a stop sign, but a signpost? What if it is not the breaking of something, but the bending that precedes a new shape? There's a story of a young tree that grew in a sheltered valley. It was tall and straight, its branches symmetrical. It was, by all accounts, a perfect tree. One season, a massive boulder from the hillside above came loose and tumbled down, coming to rest squarely against the tree's trunk, pressing it at a severe angle. The tree was in immense discomfort. It could no longer grow straight toward the sun. It felt deformed, broken. For years, it strained against the unmoving rock, trying to right itself, using all its energy in a futile fight. It grew weak. Then, slowly, a deeper intelligence within the tree took over. It stopped fighting the pressure. Instead, it began to grow around the boulder. Its trunk thickened in incredible ways, developing muscles of wood no straight tree ever possessed. It sent out branches in new, creative directions to find the light. Decades later, the boulder was still there. But the tree had enveloped it, making the stone part of its story. It was no longer a perfect, straight tree. It was a singular, majestic, incredibly strong work of living art. Travelers would come specifically to see this tree, marveling at its resilience and unique beauty. The very source of its deepest discomfort had become the cause of its greatest strength and character. Your boulders are your discomforts. The job you didn't get, the heartbreak you didn't want, the failure that humiliated you, the anxiety that visits uninvited. The initial, human reaction is to push. To rage against the unfairness, to obsess over how to remove the pressure, to long bitterly for the straight-trunk life you imagined. This resistance is like the tree's first years of straining. It drains your vitality and leaves you feeling defeated. The Buddhist path involves developing viriya, or energy, but it is the energy of wise persistence, not frantic resistance. It involves khanti, patience, the patience to be with what is, even when it hurts. The transformation begins when you stop trying to get rid of the discomfort and instead start to get curious about it. You lean into the pressure. You ask, what is this teaching me? How must I grow differently because this is here? This isn't masochism. It's profound pragmatism. The boulder is part of your landscape now. Fighting it is a war with reality, and reality always wins. Growing around it is how you win your peace and discover capacities you never knew you had. That heartbreak might force you to develop self-reliance muscles you never needed before. That failure might redirect your path toward a truer calling. That anxiety, when fully faced without fear, might reveal a depth of sensitivity that becomes compassion for others. The discomfort doesn't vanish, but your relationship to it changes. It becomes the grit around which you form your pearl. Can you identify a boulder in your life right now? Instead of pushing against it today, could you simply acknowledge its presence? Could you, just for a moment, stop wishing it away and instead say, this is part of my landscape. How can I grow in relation to it? In that acceptance, the fight ends, and your real strength begins to flow. This strength is not the brittle strength of control, but the fluid strength of trust. And this brings us to a powerful reframe of a word we often fear: surrender. We think surrender is losing. It is waving a white flag to an enemy. It is the end of the game. But consider the act of falling asleep. You cannot force yourself to sleep. The more you try, the more awake you become. Sleep comes only when you surrender. You let go of the day, you release control of your thoughts, you sink into the bed and trust your body knows what to do. Surrender is the prerequisite for rest, for renewal. In the same way, spiritual surrender is not a defeat to life, it is a cooperation with it. It is letting go of the exhausting effort to micromanage the universe from the cramped control room of your personal will. Imagine you are swimming in a wide river. You decide you need to get to a specific tree on the far bank, directly across from you. You begin swimming straight across, fighting the current with all your might. You grow exhausted, you swallow water, you make little progress. This is living with rigid control. Now, imagine you stop fighting. You lift your head, float on your back, and let the current carry you. You are not giving up on reaching the bank. You are giving up on reaching it your way, on your imposed timeline. As you float, you observe the river. You see a bend downstream where the current gently eddies toward the shore. With a few calm, focused strokes, you guide yourself into that eddy and drift effortlessly to the bank, perhaps at a different tree than you first chose, but safely, peacefully, and with energy to spare. This is surrender. It is not passivity. It is intelligent trust. You are still swimming when needed, but you are no longer battling the fundamental flow of the river. You are using its energy instead of wasting yours opposing it. The Buddha's enlightenment was, in a sense, the ultimate surrender, a surrender of the ego's desperate seeking, which allowed him to see truth directly. When you surrender, you are not saying, "I don't care." You are saying, "I trust that there is a wisdom in this process larger than my immediate understanding." You surrender the how and the when, but you stay committed to the what, your intention for peace, for growth, for love. You take action from a place of alignment, not panic. You make the phone call, but you release the need for a specific response. You do the work, but you let go of the demand for a certain outcome. This creates a space of peace around your actions. The heavy anxiety of attachment lifts. You become like a sailor who trusts his boat and his skills, so he can respect the sea instead of fearing it. Where in your life are you swimming directly against the current? Where could you float, just for a little while, and see where the flow wants to take you? The surrender is to the journey itself, and in that, you find your power. A major obstacle to this surrender is a familiar, relentless mental habit, overthinking. Let's continue. The mind is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. Overthinking is what happens when the servant believes it is the master. Convinced that if it just works harder, thinks longer, and analyzes every shadow, it can secure safety and certainty. It cannot. Think of a snowy television screen, that static, hissing noise of a channel lost. Overthinking is like turning up the volume on that static, convinced that within the noise is a hidden message you must decode. You sit for hours, ears straining, brain aching, as the meaningless hiss grows louder. The solution, of course, is not to listen harder to the static. It is to find the remote and change the channel, or to turn the TV off and enjoy the silence. The answer you seek is never in the static of cyclical thought. It is in the quiet space between the signals. In Buddhism, this is often called the monkey mind, swinging frantically from branch to branch of worry, planning, and regret. It feels productive. It feels like you're working on the problem. But you are merely stirring mud in a pond. A pond clarifies not through more stirring, but through settling. Your mind finds clarity not through more thought, but through cessation of thought. This is why insights so often come in the shower, on a walk, in that hazy moment before sleep, when the thinking mind has finally taken a break, and the deeper, intuitive intelligence of your being can bubble up to the surface. You weren't thinking about it, you released it, and the answer arrived. Practice this. The next time you are caught in a loop of worry, about a conversation, a decision, a future event, interrupt the pattern physically. Stand up. Stretch. Splash cold water on your face. Step outside and feel the air on your skin. You are signaling to your nervous system that the emergency the thoughts are simulating is not real. Then, ask yourself this simple question: is this thinking helping, or is it just happening? Most of the time, you'll see it's just a habitual mental spinning, a wheel stuck in a rut. Your job is not to spin faster. Your job is to gently lift the wheel out of the rut. You do that by anchoring your attention in the body, in the senses, in the present moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen to the actual sounds in the room. This is mindfulness. The powerful act of stepping out of the thought stream and onto the bank of awareness, where you can watch the stream flow by without being swept away. Let go of the need to figure everything out right now. Often, the next right action becomes obvious only when the storm of thought has passed. When we learn to quiet the overthinking mind, we create space for a more authentic way of engaging with the world, especially in our relationships. We move from managing to connecting. There's a tale of two gardeners who loved roses. The first gardener was obsessed with perfection. He measured pH levels, controlled humidity, and pruned with surgical precision. He would prop up stems, remove any petal with a blemish, and spray against the slightest threat. His roses were technically flawless, uniform, large, symmetrical. But they had no scent. They were stiff, more like wax replicas than living flowers. Visitors would admire them politely but feel no joy in their presence. The second gardener had a wilder plot. She provided good soil, water, and sun, but then she let the roses be. She pruned only to encourage health, not conformity. Beetles chewed some leaves, some stems grew crooked. Her roses were varied in size and shape, some with asymmetrical blooms. But oh, their scent! It filled the entire garden, rich, complex, and intoxicating. People would come just to sit nearby, breathing deeply, feeling a sense of aliveness and peace. The roses were not perfect specimens, but they were fully, vibrantly themselves. In our relationships, we are so often the first gardener. We try to prune people, our partners, our children, our friends, into our idea of how they should be. We try to manage their emotions, correct their behaviors, and shield them from all pests and problems. We call this love, but it is often love mixed with control, fear, and a desire for our own environment to be orderly. This kind of care suffocates the essential spirit. It produces relationships that look correct from the outside but lack the intoxicating fragrance of authenticity and freedom. They are brittle. The second gardener embodies the Buddhist principle of metta, or loving kindness, and upekkha, equanimity. She cares deeply, she provides the essentials for growth, but she then practices a wise letting go. She allows the other being to grow according to its own nature, to face its own challenges, to develop its own unique shape and scent. Her love is not conditional on perfection. It is a steady, warm presence that says, "I am here, and you are free to be you." This creates a space of immense safety and trust. In this space, true connection blooms, with all its wild, sweet, and sometimes messy beauty. Look at a key relationship in your life. Are you over-pruning, over-managing, trying to prevent every beetle and bend? Can you practice stepping back, just a little? Can you provide the nourishment of your attention and kindness, and then allow the other person to grow in their own direction, even if it's not the direction you would choose? This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or neglecting responsibility. It means differentiating between your anxiety and their journey. Let go of the need for them to be a perfect rose in your garden. Allow them to be a wildflower, a climbing vine, or an oak tree if that is their nature. You might find the fragrance of your connection becomes richer than you ever imagined. This practice of allowing in relationships is rooted in a deeper, more personal allowing, the acceptance of our own inner states, particularly the difficult ones. We often wage a silent civil war within ourselves. Let's continue. Imagine you are a house. A welcoming, spacious house. Through the front door, guests arrive. Some are joyful and light, like friends coming for a celebration. Others are heavy and dark, like sorrow, anger, or fear. Our habitual reaction is to see the dark guests as intruders. We slam the door, we push them back onto the porch, we yell, "You are not welcome here." But they don't leave. They stand out there, knocking, pounding, rattling the windows. All our energy goes into keeping them out, and we cannot relax in our own home. The celebration inside is ruined by the struggle at the door. Now, imagine a different way. You see sorrow standing on the porch, head bowed. Instead of barring the door, you open it. You say, "I see you. You may come in." You do not have to throw a party for sorrow. You simply allow it to sit by the fire in the living room. You offer it a cup of tea, not as a host to a beloved friend, but as a humane keeper to a weary traveler. You don't need to talk. You just let it be present. A remarkable thing happens. When you stop fighting a guest, its energy often changes. Sorrow might sit quietly for a time, and then, having been acknowledged, it might leave of its own accord. Or it might reveal it is not pure sorrow, but a mixture, sorrow holding the hand of love for something lost, or fear wearing the mask of anger. This is the practice of mindfulness and compassion toward your own inner experience, a cornerstone of Buddhist psychology. You are the house. The aware, spacious consciousness. The emotions are temporary guests. They come, and they go. Your suffering multiplies when you identify as the guest, "I am sad," and when you violently reject it, "I should not be sad." Both are forms of clinging. Letting go is simply opening the door. It is allowing the weather of emotion to pass through the spacious sky of your awareness. You feel the feeling fully, without the added story that it is wrong or that it defines you. You say to yourself, "This is the experience of sadness right now." You feel its texture in your body, the heaviness in the chest, the ache in the throat. You breathe into those sensations. In this allowing, the emotion is often metabolized, processed, and released much more quickly. The war ends. You reclaim your house. You are not your sadness, you are the awareness that holds sadness for a little while. This is immense freedom. From this place of inner hospitality, we can look at a concept that feels counterintuitive to our goal-oriented minds, the idea that we already have what we seek. There is a parable about a fish who heard tales of a magnificent thing called the ocean. It was described as vast, life-giving, the source of all. The fish became obsessed. It swam in frantic circles, questioning every creature it met. "Where is the ocean? I must find it. My life is meaningless until I am in the ocean." The other fish were confused. Finally, a wise old turtle slowed the frantic seeker. "Little one," said the turtle gently. "You are swimming in it. You have always been in it. The ocean is not a destination separate from you. It is what holds you, what you breathe, what you are made of. You cannot find the ocean because you are never apart from it. We are that fish. We seek peace, fulfillment, happiness, enlightenment as if they are destinations on a map. We believe they are out there, in the future, contingent on certain conditions. I will be peaceful when I have more money, when this conflict ends, when I find the right partner. This seeking is itself a form of subtle suffering, a tension of lack. Buddhism points out that the fundamental nature of your mind, when not agitated by craving and aversion, is peace. It is not something to acquire, it is something to uncover by ceasing to disturb it. The happiness you seek in external objects is a faint reflection of the inherent contentment that is your birthright when you are fully present and not at war with what is. You cannot find peace because you are never apart from its source. It is the water you swim in. Your frantic seeking is like the fish churning the water, creating bubbles and turbulence, and then complaining it cannot see the still, clear ocean. Stop seeking for a moment. Stop trying to get somewhere else. Simply be here. Breathe. Feel the aliveness in your body. In that pause, in that gap between seeking thoughts, you might taste it, a sense of simply being, which is undisturbed and whole. This is not a grand, dramatic enlightenment. It is a simple, quiet noticing. The peace you want is the peace you are. Let go of the exhausting search for what you imagine peace should look like, and rest in the peace that is already present, however subtle it may seem. It is enough. It is more than enough. This realization allows us to engage with life from a place of abundance, not lack. And it changes how we view our past and our mistakes. Let's continue. We carry our past like a ledger book, filled with entries in red ink, mistakes, failures, embarrassments, words we wish we could unsay. We think this ledger defines our net worth. We believe we are the sum of our errors, and we clutch this book tightly, reviewing it often, as if by reading it enough we can change the entries. But the book is not you. It is just a story you keep telling. Imagine a master painter standing before a large canvas. Early in the work, she makes a bold stroke with a color that, in that moment, feels wrong. It clashes. The novice painter would panic. They might try to scrape it off, damaging the canvas, or worse, abandon the painting altogether, declaring it ruined. The master painter simply pauses. She looks at the mistake. She doesn't see an error, she sees a new element. She steps back, considers the whole composition, and then begins to paint with the unexpected color. She weaves it into the background, uses it to create shadow and depth, balances it with a complementary hue elsewhere. That initial, wrong, stroke becomes the painting's most intriguing feature, the secret key to its harmony. Without it, the painting would have been competent but predictable. With it, the painting becomes singular, layered, and profound. Your life is that canvas. Your past actions, especially the ones you regret, are not stains to be hidden. They are data, experiences, strokes of color on your being. The suffering comes from freezing in panic at the sight of them, from wishing your canvas was blank again, or from trying to paint over them in a way that leaves an obvious, lumpy patch. The art of letting go is the art of integration. It is stepping back and asking, given this stroke is here, what does the whole painting need now? How can this be part of my wisdom, my compassion, my depth? That failed relationship taught you about boundaries. That public mistake taught you humility. That period of selfishness taught you the value of generosity. You don't erase the stroke, you incorporate it into the evolving masterpiece of who you are becoming. In Buddhism, this relates to the law of karma, not as punishment, but as cause and effect. The past action is the cause. Your present moment awareness and your next choice are where your freedom lies. You can use the effect to create a new, wiser cause. Let go of the ledger book of judgment. Pick up the brush of compassionate awareness and continue painting. The so-called mistake might become the source of your greatest beauty. This forward motion, this continuous painting, requires a specific kind of fuel. Not the fuel of fear or frantic desire, but the fuel of deep, intentional purpose that is not dependent on the opinions of others. There is a story of a small lamp, lit in a forgotten corner of a vast, ancient library. The library was empty, the books covered in dust. No one had visited in years. Every evening, as dusk fell, the lamp's keeper would come and light it with a steady flame. A young apprentice, tasked with cleaning, finally asked, "Why do you light this lamp?" "No one comes here to read. No one sees it. It is a waste of oil." The keeper trimmed the wick, sending a soft glow over the spines of ancient texts. "The light is not for those who might come," he said quietly. "The light is for the books. So they remember they are not in darkness. And it is for me, so I remember my task. My purpose is not to be seen lighting a lamp. My purpose is to light the lamp." He smiled. Sometimes, a purpose that needs no audience is the purest kind. It roots you to something deeper than applause. We are conditioned to attach our purpose to visibility, to impact, to measurable results. We want to know our light is seen and appreciated. When it isn't, we doubt the value of shining at all. This is another form of seeking validation, and it makes our sense of purpose fragile, subject to the shifting winds of external circumstance. The lamplighter's wisdom is the wisdom of dana, generosity, and sila, ethical conduct. Done for their own sake. It is doing the right thing because it is right, not because you will be rewarded. It is speaking your truth because it is true, not because it will be celebrated. It is tending your inner light because that is your duty to your own soul. This is incredibly empowering. When your purpose is rooted in alignment with your own values, in integrity, in kindness, in the simple act of showing up fully, it becomes unshakable. You don't need a certain job title, a certain relationship status, or a certain number of followers to feel on purpose. Your purpose becomes a quality of your presence. Are you present? Are you kind in this interaction? Are you honest in this task? Then you are fulfilling your purpose in this moment. This moment is all you ever have. Let go of the grand, future-oriented, ego-driven life's purpose. Embrace the humble, immediate, soul-driven moment's purpose. Light your lamp because it is yours to light. The books in your own soul will remember they are not in darkness. And that is enough. Living from this deep-rooted purpose naturally dissolves a pervasive anxiety, the fear of missing out, of not having enough time, of not doing enough. Let's continue. We live under a silent tyranny, the tyranny of more. More experiences, more achievements, more possessions, more connections. We scan the horizon of our lives, terrified that somewhere, a better version of our existence is being lived without us. This fear creates a frantic, skimming quality to our days. We are everywhere at once, and therefore, nowhere truly present. Imagine two farmers given a plot of land each, side by side. The first farmer, driven by the fear of lack, scatters 10 different kinds of seeds across his entire field in a single day. He wants corn, wheat, berries, herbs, fruit trees. All of it, and now. He spends his days anxiously running from one spot to another, watering a little here, weeding a little there. The seeds sprout, but they are crowded. They compete for sunlight and nutrients. The roots are shallow because the plants were never thinned or given space to deepen. The result is a chaotic patch of stunted, weak plants, none yielding a meaningful harvest. The farmer is exhausted and feels like a failure. The second farmer walks her land slowly. She feels the sun, tests the soil. She chooses one crop suited perfectly to that field's conditions. She prepares the soil with care, plants the seeds with intention, and then tends to them consistently. She weeds around them, giving them room. She waters deeply, encouraging the roots to go down. Her field, for a time, looks less productive than her neighbors, just rows of one green thing. But when harvest comes, her plants are strong, abundant, and nourishing. She has a true yield, not just activity. Our time, our energy, and our attention are that field. Scattering ourselves across 100 half-hearted pursuits, saying yes to every invitation, chasing every trend, maintaining countless shallow connections, leaves us feeling busy but barren. We have shallow roots. We feel easily uprooted by the slightest wind of change or criticism. The practice of letting go here is the practice of selective focus. It is the courageous act of saying no to 99 good things so you can say a full-hearted, deep yes to the one thing that truly matters to your soul in this season. It is thinning the seedlings of your commitments so the chosen ones can thrive. This isn't about laziness or shrinking your life. It is about cultivation versus collection. It is going deep, not wide. Let go of the fear that you are missing out on the other crops. Trust that by fully tending the one in front of you, you are not missing life, you are finally engaging with it at a nourishing depth. The richness you crave doesn't come from having it all, it comes from being fully present with what you have chosen. Look at your field today. What seeds have you scattered in anxiety? Which one, if you gave it your full, undivided space and care, would yield the harvest of peace or purpose you truly seek? Let the rest go. The fertility is in the focus. This focused, deep engagement brings us to a simple but transformative tool, the power of a genuine question, asked not from a place of lack, but from a place of open curiosity. We often approach our problems with statements disguised as questions. Why does this always happen to me? Is not a question, it is a complaint, a story of victimhood. How can I fix this? Is often a demand for a tool to regain control. But there is another kind of question, one that opens a door instead of building a wall. It is the question you ask when you genuinely don't know the answer, and you are willing to listen for a response that may come from a place deeper than your logic. Try this. When you feel stuck, anxious, or confused, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Ask softly, inwardly, what is needed here, or what wants to happen. Don't try to answer it with your thinking mind. Just ask, and then listen. Listen to the silence that follows. Listen for a felt sense, an image, a memory, a word that floats up. This is not about mystical revelations. It is about tapping into your own somatic and intuitive intelligence, which is often wiser than your conditioned thoughts. The mind wants to solve. The soul often wants to know or be. The question, what is needed, might be answered by rest, or a walk, or to have that difficult conversation, or simply patience. The answer is almost always simple, immediate, and peaceful. This practice is a form of surrender. You are surrendering the role of the know-it-all manager and stepping into the role of the attentive student of your own life. You are letting go of having to figure it all out and opening to receiving guidance. In the Zen tradition, this is called beginner's mind, Shoshin, an attitude of openness, eagerness, and lack of preconceptions. It is asking the question as if for the first time, every time. When you live from this place of curious questioning, life stops being a series of problems to fix and becomes a fascinating, unfolding mystery to be engaged with. The pressure drops. You are no longer solely responsible for inventing the next step, you are responsible for listening for it, and then having the courage to take it. From this receptive state, we can understand a profound spiritual principle. The idea that true strength is often found in softness, not in hardness. Let's continue. We are taught that strength is a fortress, impenetrable walls, a guarded gate, a show of unyielding force. We build these fortresses within ourselves, walls of certitude, gates of judgment, and we patrol them with the sharp soldiers of our opinions and defenses. It feels safe. But a fortress is also a prison. It cuts you off from the flowing landscape of life. Nothing new can get in. You cannot expand. You are trapped in your own defenses, and the energy required to maintain them is exhausting. Now, consider water. It has no walls. It is soft, yielding, and takes the shape of whatever contains it. Yet, over time, water cuts through canyons, smooths boulders, and wears away cliffs. Its power is not in resistance, but in persistent, gentle adaptation. It flows around obstacles, finds the path of least resistance, and in doing so, it becomes unstoppable. The hardest stone is eventually changed by the softest water. This is the paradox of true strength in many spiritual traditions, including Buddhism. The soft, the flexible, the yielding, is ultimately more powerful and resilient than the rigid and hard. A reed bends in the storm and survives. The rigid oak may snap. In your own life, where are you being the fortress? Where are you hardening your heart with resentment, rigidifying your mind with fixed beliefs, or armoring your spirit with cynicism? This hardness feels like control, but it is a brittle kind of control. The next time you feel yourself tightening, in an argument, in fear, in disappointment, experiment with a conscious, gentle softening. It is an internal action. Breathe into the tight place in your chest or jaw. Imagine it melting, just a degree. You are not giving up your position, you are giving up the tension around it. You are exchanging the posture of a fortress for the posture of a stream. From this softer place, you can still say what needs to be said, set the boundary that needs setting, but it will come from a place of centered power, not reactive fear. Your words will carry the weight of truth, not the brittleness of attack. You will be heard differently. You will feel different. Letting go is this softening. It is the dissolution of the inner fortress, allowing you to flow with life again, powerful in your adaptability, enduring in your gentleness. This flowing state allows us to meet one of the most beautiful and challenging teachings, the practice of finding joy not in grand achievements, but in the utterly ordinary, fleeting moments. We are conditioned to attach happiness to milestones, the promotion, the wedding, the vacation, the goal achieved. We live for the highlight reel. But life, in its raw substance, is made up of the mundane, the in-between moments, the steam rising from a morning cup, the weight of a cat in your lap, the sound of rain on the roof, the feeling of clean sheets. We rush past these moments, our minds already on the next thing, and in doing so, we miss the very fabric of joy that is being woven for us, stitch by simple stitch. There is a story of a monk who was tasked with sweeping the temple courtyard every morning. It was a vast space, and the wind would blow leaves back in as fast as he could sweep. For years, he saw it as a futile chore, a monotonous obstacle between him and his real practice of meditation in the hall. He resented it, his mind always elsewhere. One autumn day, overwhelmed by the endless leaves, he stopped in defeat. He sat on the steps, utterly present in his frustration. And then, he really saw. He saw the brilliant crimson and gold of each individual leaf. He heard the soft swish-swish rhythm of his own broom. He felt the cool morning air on his skin and the warmth of the rising sun on his back. In that moment of surrender to the task itself, the chore disappeared. What was left was a symphony of sensations, a profound experience of being alive. The sweeping was no longer an obstacle to his spiritual life, it became his spiritual life. It was his meditation. From that day on, he swept with a joyful reverence. He had discovered the secret: holiness is not found only in the temple hall, it is found in the mindful attention brought to the broom, the leaves, the courtyard. The sacred is hidden in the ordinary. This is the essence of mindfulness, or sati in Buddhism. It is the practice of fully inhabiting the present sensory experience, without judgment or mental commentary. When you wash a dish, just wash the dish. Feel the warmth of the water, the slipperiness of the soap, the texture of the plate. When you walk, just walk. Feel the contact of your foot with the earth, the swing of your arms, the air moving past you. In this full attention, the mundane is transfigured. It becomes vivid, interesting, even blissful. You are no longer living for the future milestone, you are alive in the present miracle. Let go of the belief that joy is waiting for you at some future finish line. Open your senses to the joy that is available in the very next breath, the very next sensation. The kingdom of heaven, as another tradition says, is within, and it is accessed through the gateway of now. This deep immersion in the present inevitably changes our relationship with a universal experience, pain. We are not meant to avoid all pain. Physical pain is a signal. Emotional pain is a testament to our capacity to love and care. But there is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is the initial experience, the sting of loss, the ache of disappointment. Suffering is everything we add on top of it with our minds, the story of why it shouldn't have happened, the projection of how it will ruin our future, the identification with it as a permanent state. Suffering is the mental and emotional resistance to pain. Imagine you have to hold your hand in a bowl of ice water. The cold is the pain, sharp, intense, undeniable. If you tense every muscle in your body, clamp your jaw, and scream in your mind, "I hate this. This is terrible." When will it end? You are in immense suffering. Now, imagine you approach the same sensation differently. You relax your body. You breathe deeply. You bring your full, curious attention to the sensation itself. This is the experience of intense cold. It is a constellation of prickling, aching, numbness. It is changing moment to moment. You don't like it, but you are not at war with it. You are simply observing a phenomenon. This is pain without the added layer of suffering. It is dramatically more bearable. The cold hasn't changed. Your relationship to it has. This is a direct application of the Buddha's teaching on the second noble truth. Suffering arises from craving, wanting the pain to go away, and aversion, hating the pain. When you let go of the craving for the pain to be other than it is, and the aversion toward it, what remains is just the pure sensation. And all sensations are impermanent. They arise, they peak, they pass. By meeting pain with this mindful, allowing awareness, you stop feeding the fire of suffering. You sit with the bare experience. This is not stoicism. It is profound wisdom. It is the ultimate letting go of the story we tell about our pain. In that space, healing can begin. The next time you feel emotional or physical discomfort, try this. Instead of launching into the mental narrative, drop directly into the body. Locate the sensation. Describe it to yourself neutrally. Breathe into it. You are not trying to make it leave, you are giving it compassionate space to exist. In that allowing, you will find a peace that coexists with the pain. You are bigger than it. This capacity to hold pain with awareness prepares us for the final, and perhaps most expansive, form of letting go, releasing our separation from the world around us. Let's conclude our journey. We often operate from a profound, yet subtle, illusion, the illusion of separation. We experience ourselves as a discrete self inside a body, looking out at an external world full of other separate selves and objects. This sense of being a lonely island of consciousness is the root of much of our fear, our greed, our jealousy, and our loneliness. We feel we must protect our island, stockpile its resources, and compare it to others. It is a state of inherent contraction and anxiety. But what if the island is a trick of perspective? What if, from a higher vantage point, you could see that your island is just the peak of a massive, submerged mountain that is connected to the entire ocean floor? The separation is an illusion of the surface. Underneath, everything is one, continuous landmass. Your self is not a separate drop of water, but a temporary whirlpool in the vast ocean of existence, a pattern of energy and awareness that arises from the ocean, has the nature of the ocean, and will one day dissolve back into the ocean. This is not a mere philosophical idea in Buddhism, it is a potential direct experience known through practices that quiet the ego mind. It's the understanding of interbeing or dependent origination, praditya samutpada, that nothing exists independently. You are here because of your parents, the food you eat, the air you breathe, the generations before you, the sunlight that grew your food. You are a nexus of relationships, a process, not a solid, separate thing. The oxygen you exhale is taken in by a tree. The tree's exhalation is your next breath. Where do you end and the tree begin? The boundary is arbitrary. When you begin to sense this, even intellectually at first, letting go undergoes a final, radical shift. It is no longer just about letting go of a thought or a worry. It becomes about letting go of the very sense of being the let-goer. You relax the mental fist that is constantly grasping at the idea of me and mine. In that relaxation, a profound peace arises, the peace of no longer having to defend a fragile boundary. Compassion flows naturally, because harming another is seen as harming a different part of the same whole. Gratitude arises, because you see your life as a gift sustained by an endless web of support. This is the culmination of the path, the liberation of the heart from the prison of self-concern. This doesn't mean you become passive or lose your personality. You become more authentically yourself, because you are no longer constructing a self in opposition to everything else. You are simply being the unique, temporary expression of the whole that you are, like a particular wave on the ocean, unique in its form, but not separate from the water. Your actions become more spontaneous, kind, and effective because they are no longer filtered through the dense lens of, "What's in it for me?" They arise from a sense of connectedness. So, how do we touch this in daily life? We practice through simple, radical attention. When you look at a tree, don't just see it as an object out there. Pause. See it as a living process of sunlight, soil, and rain, miraculously standing before you. It is a cousin in the family of life. When you speak to another person, see if you can listen beneath their words to the same life that animates you, looking back at you from behind their eyes. Feel the shared vulnerability, the shared hope, the shared capacity for pain and joy. In moments of stillness, feel your breath as the exchange between your body and the atmosphere, a literal, physical reminder that you are in constant communion with the world. This final letting go is not an effort, it is a homecoming. It is the wave realizing it is water. All the previous forms of letting go, of thoughts, of control, of the past, of validation, are preparations for this ultimate release, the gentle dissolution of the illusion of separateness. You were never an isolated entity trying to navigate a hostile world. You are the world, experiencing itself in a particular, precious way. And in that knowing, all striving ceases. A deep, unconditional okayness settles in. Everything hasn't necessarily changed, but you have changed in relation to everything. And from that place, life is no longer a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, a dance to be danced, with grace, gratitude, and an open heart. We have traveled a long path together in this monk's temple. From the master carpenter listening to the wood, to the child building sandcastles, from the bell awaiting no striker to the tree growing around the boulder. We have been the overthinker learning to quiet the static, the gardener learning to stop over-pruning, the host learning to welcome all inner guests. We have painted with our past mistakes, lit lamps for unseen books, and learned to tend one deep crop instead of scattering many. We have asked open questions, softened our fortresses into streams, and found the sacred in the sweep of a broom. We have sat with pain without adding suffering, and finally, glimpsed the ocean that holds all our individual waves. This is the journey of letting go. It is not one grand gesture, but 10,000 small releases. A release of a tense muscle when you remember. A release of a judgmental thought when you catch it. A release of the need to be right in a petty argument. A release of the worry about tomorrow before you sleep. Each release is a homecoming to the present moment. Each release creates a little more space inside you, space for peace, for joy, for love to flow through. You do not have to be perfect at this. You simply have to begin. And then begin again. And again. Every moment is a new opportunity to practice. The grip will tighten again, that is the nature of the conditioned mind. Your practice is to notice the grip, and with kindness, not criticism, to open the hand. So as we end our time together, take a deep, nourishing breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. This breath is your anchor to the present, always available. Wherever you go from here, you carry this capacity for release within you. You are the sky, vast enough to hold any weather. You are the sand, capable of being shaped into endless forms. You are the water, powerful in your softness and flow. Let go. Not because you are giving up, but because you are finally ready to receive the life that has been waiting for you all along, the life that exists when you are no longer clinging to a version of it. In that open space, trust that everything, in its own time and its own wise way, will fall into place. Thank you for sharing this sacred space. If the peace you found here is something you wish to return to, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. It is a community dedicated to remembering these quiet truths. Share your experiences, your stories of letting go, in the comments below. We read every one. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Tend your inner light. And remember, the door to peace is always open, from the inside.